Have you ever allowed yourself to dream, to start your own business doing what you love? When I was a little girl, I remember only wanting to do metaphysical things. I wanted to heal people. I wanted to work with crystals, and I wanted to communicate with the spirit realm. In fact, in college, when I was applying, I started to really seek out programs to see if they even had paranormal majors. That wasn't really a thing. And I never fully allowed myself to think that I could create a business out of something that I love. If you have already done that, or you're wondering if it's even possible, today I'm going to be talking about getting paid for your life purpose and turn it into your business. Stay tuned. Welcome to Spiritual and Ambitious. I'm your host, Whitney McNeil. I'm a certified medium and spiritual teacher, and I help spiritual and ambitious souls just like you live your life purpose through your career and attract abundance by connecting into your intuition and spirit guides. Let's get spiritual and ambitious. Before we get started, I wanted to give a shout out to April, DSX6. She says, short and to the point. I really love that there is a lot of information in each episode. Also, that I don't have to sit for an hour to get it all. The episodes are short and to the point and definitely worth listening to each week. Thank you, April, so much for giving me a great review, and I really appreciate it. Now, I know that you're listening to this podcast. I want to let you know that we are having a podcast giveaway. Make sure to go to messengerofspirit.com/podcast review for all the details. All right, let's dive in. I want to talk today about why you might think you can't get paid for your life purpose and shift your mindset around it. So even if you've already started your business, maybe you're having trouble going full time. Maybe you are saying, I don't know how I can ever make a full income with this. One of the things that I talk about with my students in Intuition Abundance Academy, money blocks. Yes, we have intuition blocks and we have money blocks. Now, everyone has their own unique set of challenges. And unfortunately, the world has an inequity as far as how people are treated and perceived based on backgrounds and race and those things. But what I'm talking about is how we perceive ourselves. And when we start to perceive ourselves in a way of someone that can actually do this thing, things happen. Your spirit guides work with you to create opportunities to align you to the right people and the right places and the opportunities. So even when you are thinking, this looks very bleak, how's this going to work? When it's in alignment with your purpose and your mission, your spirit guides say, hey, I got you. Let me create this opportunity for you, which is really cool, right? So let's talk about money blocks. Let's talk about our limiting beliefs. This is usually what comes across. I can't ever make an income from XYZ. So for me, it was like, I can't ever make an income talking to spirit for people. Like, I could never make a full income teaching people intuition. That was something that I thought early on, and it came from other people's perceptions. It really wasn't mine. It was what I was taught, right? So I'm hearing that from other people. Oh my gosh, if you start your own business, you're going to be out in the street. Oh my gosh, how are you going to get medical insurance? Oh my gosh, you don't want people to think that you're charging, right? Those things come from other people. And the great news is you get to decide what you think. So you get to decide if that's something that you say yes to, I'm going to take that belief, or no, that is something that I choose not to believe, which is good. But what happens When you're hearing that over and over from a young age, then it just starts to become a fact for you. And you think, it only happens to like a handful of people. It will never happen to me. Trust me, it can happen for you 100%. You just have to listen to your intuition, take the inspired action, and detach from the outcome. So, this can be old stories. Maybe you saw your parents growing up struggling with money. Maybe you saw someone in the family start their own business and fall flat on their face, so to speak. Who knows where it came from? What are you going to choose to believe? This usually comes down to another money block. And this abundance block is what I call them, but I'll say money blocks so you kind of know what I'm talking about. But abundance is financial and spiritual, right? Worthiness. Thinking that no one will pay you for your service. Thinking that it's not good enough, that it is not up to par to be able to be charged for. And trust me, when you get to this place of, I can finally do it, you're going to run into this block again as you move through your business and increase your prices. So, worthiness really is in the sacral chakra. If you haven't listened to my episode on chakras, go to episode 10 to do that. This is our relationship with money. This is our relationship with people. So if the people in your life are telling you that you can't do something, or the people in your life when you were younger, especially, that's going to really block you from truly receiving your intuition and your messages. And it's really going to block you from receiving that money because you're not going to feel like you can do it. You're not going to feel worthy. So worthiness is a big block that prevents people from getting into that place of getting paid for their purpose by turning it into their business. Now, sometimes I see people say, yeah, I'm going to dip my toes in the water, which is fine. However, it's really important to make a commitment. Are you serious about this or not? And there's a difference. There's some people that aren't very serious and they just want to do it for fun. And then I'm talking to you who you're serious. You're spiritual and you're ambitious and you want to do this. So let's work on some worthiness blocks. This is one of the big ones that I work with my students in Intuition Abundance Academy. So not knowing where to start. This is another block that comes up. And of course, this can be a block like, Whitney, I didn't take a business course. I didn't go to college for business. I feel like nobody would take me seriously. I have no idea where to start. So what I'll say is, look at where you can start. And one of the ways that you can start is by taking a course on how to start your business. It does not have to be a college degree. It does not have to be the perfect way. And perfection can hold you back. So letting go of perfection is going to be really key to turning your purpose into your business. And taking intuitive, inspired action is also really key. We can think about it all day long, but until you actually do it, it's not going to be real. So one of the action steps I could tell you to take is put all of your ideas about your business on paper. You can come up with your name. And then when you're ready, you could form an LLC. Now, depending on where you live, this could be a very minimal amount of money or a couple $100 or maybe a little bit more. It just depends on where you are. But allowing yourself to take that next step, even if you aren't sure. Truly, having a business and getting it started does not require a ton of money. So you want to talk to an accountant, You want to talk to a person who specializes in creating an LLC, and then you need to submit it, and then really just taking payments after that. Now, when I say that, I'm not giving legal advice here, but what I'm trying to say is there's really not that many steps. But as I'm talking, I know you're probably thinking that sounds exactly why I do not want to do this, because I have to find a lawyer and that's going to cost me thousands. Actually, it does not have to. You can also find this online. So, what I want you to do is really ask yourself, what is holding you back? Is it that I have to call the accountant, I have to make the appointment, I have to ask, then I have to call the state? So, if that is what it is, and that's the thing holding you back, write it all down and just do one thing a day. And if you want to take it slower, do one thing a week. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes we're like, I cannot do this until I've learned every single thing that I need to about being a business owner. Trust me, you will never know every single thing about being a business owner. It's a learning process because we are all students in this world. So understanding, writing it all down, and then taking it one step at a time, talking to the right person. Or maybe your checklist is, I'm going to research who I need to talk to today. Or taking a course is easy. Perhaps you are saying, I don't want to start my own business because if I do what I love, I'll hate it. Well, let me just say this. That's your choice. You can choose to burn yourself out and not charge enough and hate what you do. Or you can choose to listen to your intuition and your spirit guides, open up your chakras and allow them to be balanced, and charge what you know you want to charge and choose the hours that you know you want to work. Now, I am not someone that recommends, hey, quit your job and go all in. Now, right now, there's a lot of people that are quitting their jobs, starting their own business, which I think you have to follow your feeling, your intuition, and your purpose. So if that's not your purpose, find your purpose for sure. And we'll talk about that too. But what I did is I worked a full-time job, knowing I was going to leave at some point, just wasn't sure when. And I started my own business and I grew it while I had income in place. And you can do that as well. So you can choose how much you want to work, how much income you want to make, and then you get to charge what it is that you want. Now, maybe you're thinking you're not good enough. Oh my gosh, nobody will ever take me seriously. I've not learned everything. I just mentioned that, but that in a sense is thinking that you have to be perfect. And you will never know all the answers. The good news is you can research it and talk to the people that do. So for instance, I am not an accountant. I am not a lawyer. I'm not somebody that specializes in those areas. But I know people that do. And it makes it easy. And if you're in a place where you're thinking, I don't even know these people, you can find and research. You can ask. That is the action that you can take. It doesn't have to get done all today or all tomorrow. Maybe you're thinking nobody knows you. Nobody knows me. I'm an imposter. Imposter syndrome comes up with, I'm going to say, 99.999% of entrepreneurs. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Nobody knows me. I'm not an authority. I'm not good enough. All that stuff that comes out. However, trust me here, we all think that at some point. And you will become a specialist or an expert in what you do when you truly believe in what you're doing. So, you might be wondering, well, don't I need all of the certificates? Don't I need to know all the training? Maybe if you're going to be a physical therapist, a counselor, a doctor? Yeah, you do. However, if you are saying, I want to sell my art projects that are now not going to be projects, are going to be items that I want to sell. No, you don't. You don't need those certificates. You don't need to have been interviewed by Oprah, even though that would be amazing, right? Take it one step at a time. When we come back after the break, I want to talk about some steps you can take to start moving into your purpose. This episode is sponsored by my program, Intuition Abundance Academy. It's a 12-week transformational program to help you connect to your spirit guides and break through your abundance blocks to claim your life purpose. This is where you truly transform and create the abundance that you know in your heart you desire and deserve. It's time to stop second guessing and learn to trust and love yourself. Inside this 12-week journey, there is life purpose training, intuition training, spirit guide training, abundance training, and live coaching with yours truly. You can go to messengerofspirit.com/waitlist to jump on the waitlist for the next enrollment. As a professional psychic medium, I've done tens of thousands of readings, but I felt a call to move more fully into teaching intuition. But I still get so many requests about doing readings. So while I don't do readings anymore, I have brought in some very trusted colleagues who are now available for live 1-hour readings on Zoom. If you would like to book your psychic medium reading, go to messengerofspirit.com/appointments to see our available readers and schedule your Zoom reading today. All right, thanks for listening. So I wanted to address a couple things too. You might be thinking, I don't have the entrepreneurial background. I don't know anybody that was an entrepreneur. I feel like I'm floundering. And one of the steps that I want to tell you is to find a community of people that are also entrepreneurs or aspiring ones. Because truly, if you know no one that is an entrepreneur, the people around you may not be the best support system for you. There is a different mentality of working for someone else versus working for yourself. It's in the way they think, the way they operate, and also the initiative and a ton of other things. They may have limiting beliefs that it takes a lot to start your business. One of the limiting beliefs is when people say, oh my gosh, I have security here. You do not have security working for someone else. They get to decide if they are going to keep you or not. I think the best security is to have your own business because you are going to decide how your future is based on your energy, based on your intention. I was going to say gumption, but that sounds so weird, right? But it is what it is. And you've got the ambition. Now, there's nothing wrong with people who work for somebody else. Absolutely not. That can be their life purpose. I'm just saying there's a fundamental difference in the way that an entrepreneur thinks, because that involves more perceived risk. Did you see how I said perceived? Versus somebody who is risk adverse, perceived wise. And I'm going to say, if I had to leave my destiny of my career in someone else's hands or leave it in my own, I'm going to bet on myself 1,000,000 times over. Now, another limiting belief is I'll never make as much money as I do with working for somebody else. Well, let me tell you, if that's what you think, then that is the result you'll get. If you want to stay trapped in that way of feeling that it has to be made a certain way, then you'll stay there. If you can open to the possibility that if you stepped fully into your life purpose, you would expand your abundance. That's when things change. For me, I am making more money than I did when I worked for somebody else. I run a multi-six-figure business. But I never would have thought that would have happened with all these limiting beliefs. So we've talked about these beliefs, but you're probably saying, great, how do I stop it? Well, there's a couple things I'll tell you. Now, these are things I definitely teach inside of Intuition Abundance Academy. Join the wait list if you haven't already. It's coming up in April. But the way that I truly teach, which is different, but it worked for me and it's worked for so many other people. One, open up your intuition. A lot of times when you are scared to make a change, it's because your energy is not open to your intuition and your fear has taken over and you're going through the motions of life. You're just going through the motions. You really aren't in that place of trusting your intuition. So tuning into your intuition and developing your intuition and trusting the gut feeling, right? So the way I teach intuition, there are four main languages. You can see your messages, hear them, feel them in your gut, or knowing them in your body, or a thought popping into your mind. So understanding how to connect into your intuition is going to be really important. Now, working with your spirit guides, one of the best ahas I ever had was, oh my gosh, I do not have to do this by myself. I have a team, and when I tell them I'm ready for something, they make it happen. So for me, I really felt this push where I said, I am truly here for something else. I don't know how logically this makes any sense, but I know that I'm going to follow my gut feeling. And so what I did is I learned Reiki. I tuned and honed more of my intuition and mediumship. And I took inspired action and I said, I want to do this and I want to start a career business with this. So I became a contractor at a Reiki clinic and I saw clientele and I loved it. Now, this girl over here talking to you, I had no free time, but I didn't care because I was so happy doing something I loved versus working in a job I hated. So I kept building my business with this. And I said, I really love this. Oh my gosh, I want to do this full time. And I asked my spirit guides, hey, this is for my highest and best. Can you please show me how to make this full time? And please let me know when it's time to move forward. I listened. I developed my intuition. My spirit guides connected me to the right people, the right places. They shut the doors that I did not need to go through, even though my ego was crying about it and wanted to. And then they opened the opportunities that I needed to see. They led me to the right people and situations. And with that, I was able to grow my business. I stopped being a contractor and I decided to get my own office. I started advertising for myself. And then all of a sudden, I had an extreme knowing that I was ready to go full time. And I did. And it worked out. And there was nothing else to ever think about. And it was like I never needed to look back. But you might be out there going, how can I turn my purpose? And do I even know if this is my purpose? One of the things I'll tell you about your life purpose is that your life purpose is within you. It is not something to go search for. It is already part of your natural talent and ability. So your life purpose can be helping people. Your life purpose can be art. Your life purpose can be to truly heal people. And healing does not have to be in a Western medicine way. It can be through working with energy. It can be with working with the mental, emotional field, and so forth. So really knowing that you don't have to go out to find it. What I want you to do is really ask yourself, what do people come to me for? What do I find myself doing in my personal life for people? And what would I do if I could do it anytime for free or for money? And the reason I'm asking you this is because if I had to say to you, hey, whatever you decide, you're going to have to do this for the rest of your life. You're going to have to do this. Are you going to be happy? If all the bills are paid, would you do this? Are you going to be happy? And if your answer is yes, oh my gosh, I would totally do this. That is a cha-ching. You got it right. It's your purpose. So knowing that your life purpose is easy, and this comes to another block where we think that it's not. We think it's going to be hard. Did I get it right? Am I on the right path? Trust your natural abilities. Also, look at what people ask you for. What are your strengths? And if you don't know, or maybe you don't have confidence, ask the people who are closest to you. The 5 people that are closest to you. Say, hey, what do you think my strengths are? What do you feel that I have a natural ability for? And see what they say. Perhaps it's calming others. Perhaps it is sharing knowledge. And all of that is going to be key to your life purpose archetype. Okay, so I talk about life purpose in my life purpose training and Intuition Abundance Academy as well. But for now, I want to give you a free gift. You can go to messengerofspirit.com/life purpose to grab your free life purpose archetype guide to really start thinking about your life purpose. And I would love for you to join the wait list over at messengerofspirit.com/waitlist for Intuition Abundance Academy. So let me do a little quick recap. I wanted to bring up all the limiting beliefs that can come up, right? Even if you are currently in your business, what is going on? What blocks are you having? And knowing that it's important to tune into your intuition, talk to your spirit guides, and truly know that your life purpose is inherent and is natural. And what I want you to do is to write down everything in your business. So if you're just wanting to start it, write it all down. If you already have one, I want you to write down all the ideas or the changes that you want to make. So writing down everything that you're just thinking about. Because what ends up happening if you don't write it down, you think about it at 3 a.m. You think about it and you just didn't go to sleep. And now you're like, great, I got to wake up and I'm tired. So write it all down. And let me just say, a pen and paper by your bedside is great. It doesn't work for me. I mean, what I end up doing is if I have to do that, I just grab like leftover random ripped up envelopes and tissue. I've literally used tissue before and wrote things down. But what I do use often, notes in my phone, notes in my mobile phone. So use your notes app, or you can voice record if you want to. I like to read. I'm a visual person, so I write them down. I am primarily a seer. If you are an owl, you might like to hear, so you could record your voice and listen to it later. So write down all the stuff going on. And then I want you to make a commitment. Do one thing, either a day or a week. That means if you don't know who to contact, you're going to research. That's your one thing. If you don't know who to contact after you've researched, ask around. If you are saying, I don't know what the next step is, you can call your Secretary of State, for instance, and see what resources they have. One thing at a time, okay? All right. So I will see you inside of the next episode. And for now, here's to staying spiritual and ambitious. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And if you loved it, would you please share it with a friend? I would also love your review and a reminder to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find me at messengerofspirit.com, and you can take the 4 Intuitive Languages quiz and find show notes there too. If you want to connect on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can find me at Messenger of Spirit. If you want to continue the conversation, join my free Facebook group at messengerofspirit.com/group. I'll meet you right here next week. Here's to staying spiritual and ambitious.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.